I am here with Brian Wroblewski, founder and CEO of Golf Pipeline. Brian, please tell me about Golf Pipeline.
Sure. Well, it started because I was a frustrated golfer and I couldn't find a lot of the courses that I really wanted to play here in the Milwaukee area originally. And I think the worst experience that we had as golfers is just getting people to the course was very cumbersome. You know, if you think about things like Evite and Facebook invites or events that have occurred in the last 5-10 years, they make life really simple on you, and nothing was available in the golf space to do the same. So in the old days, and I say old days even as a few years ago, we as golfers would book a tee time, and that might have been by calling the course or by going to their website. But then that might have been the easy part, although not really, because even booking a tee time, if you really wanted to find a specific time like 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, it was really tough to find a course that had availability. So once you booked it though, after that, this process of text messaging and phone calling and emailing just became cumbersome, and I ended up with usually an inbox full of messages that I didn't really care about. And so it really created the vision behind Golf Pipeline, which was simply to be able to book a tee time, invite your friends to play golf with you, and fill out that group. Perfect.
And now what value is provided for the golf courses?
That's a great question. So we look at Golf Pipeline a lot like OpenTable.com has looked at the restaurant industry. If you think about a golf course today, they have to wear many hats, and they have to try to attract golfers. They have to try to keep their course in good condition to play. When a golfer shows up, they have to be really good customer service people. And so all of these wearing different hats really created a frustration for a lot of golf courses that they were trying to do too much. So bringing Golf Pipeline to the world, much like OpenTable.com did for restaurants, allows us to find golfers to bring to the course so that they can focus, I always say, focus on the customer experience and be really good relationship experts with that golfer. Let us find you the golfer, and then we'll deliver it to you. On top of that, and really important, because Golf Pipeline is a social booking model where you can invite your friends to play, and we'll probably talk about that in a little bit, the model is such where we can provide data back to the golf course that gives them more information than they would have before.
Great. And now if you do want to touch on some of those features that you mentioned, that'd be great. So some of the features of your site.
Yeah, so it's sort of an end-to-end management tool for a golfer, meaning a golfer can book a tee time, invite their friends to join that tee time, and they can do it socially, which means because Golf Pipeline is like Facebook and OpenTable, you create your own network of golfers. So you can invite your Golf Pipeline friends to join a tee time, and it separates it out in terms of those golfers that you recently played with and those golfers that are just your golfing friends that you haven't played with recently. So that's the first step. We also allow you to add somebody's email address in so that if they're not a member of Golf Pipeline, you can still add them in. And on top of that, we allow you to connect up with your Facebook and your LinkedIn profiles, so you can select Facebook friends and LinkedIn contacts. And in all four of those methods, in a matter of a minute or two, I could invite 20 or 30 people to join my tee time. Then I get to go golf, and once I'm done, I come back and I can track my score. I can establish a USGA handicap that is compliant with the USGA handicap system. I can build a profile, and this is sort of fun because I can say, what driver do I use, what irons do I use, what golf ball preference do I have, shoes that I wear, when did I start golfing, who my favorite player is, what my home course is, and then on top of all of that, I can see all of my Golf Buddy activity. So I can see who played where, what they shot, what equipment they changed to, and who they became friends with.
That's great. So now that data is very useful. What does your revenue model look like?
Great question. We actually have two revenue models today. We act as a travel agent for the golf course. So we do charge the golf course a commission on every tee time booked. And then we also generate revenue off of the USGA handicap. The nice thing for golfers, though, on the USGA handicap side is that our annual fee for the handicap is $18 a year. And so if you think about that relative to where you buy it elsewhere, it typically is a lot more expensive elsewhere. So it's a great revenue. We monetize in two ways. And we say that we're sort of the first social network that monetizes on a niche basis in a couple different ways out of the gates. And we've got many, many more ways that we'll monetize. And you touched on the data piece of it. We've got more ways that we monetize over time.
Cool. And now, are you local just to Milwaukee, or how far do you expand?
You know, that's another good question. We started in Milwaukee, mainly because I was based here. But right now we have, and this is as of March of 2013, we have tee times in 22 states. We're not heavy in all of those states. And really, you actually raised a good question, which prompts me to say one important thing for golfers. The Golf Pipeline platform is usable by every golf course in the United States for every golfer in the United States. So we may not have tee times at all of your favorite golf courses, but we do allow you to add in your tee time. So you could book it elsewhere, you could book it on the phone or through another website. You can come into Golf Pipeline and add your tee time in and still use the same invite functionality and the same score tracking functionality for every course, whether it's public or private, it doesn't matter. But getting back to your question, right now we're pretty heavily based in Milwaukee, Chicago, and Kansas City. We also have a lot of courses right now in Minneapolis and Detroit, and we're coming on with Denver and Northern California as well.
Great. What are some strategies you're using to expand?
Well, on the golf course side, we've just built great relationships. And so when we talk about our model, it's a model that the golf course really wants, because right now there is another competitor out there that uses, as I use I use sort of restaurant analogies. The other competitor is sort of a restaurant.com, more of a couponing and discounting play for the golfer, and that's fine for a lot of golfers if you want to golf at certain times of the day, maybe 3:30 p.m. But we're more of the open table, which is a convenience play for golfers that really want to book their tee time and find an easy way to compare tee times in the industry. So for the golf course perspective, we've built deep relationships, and we reach out, and when we explain our model, they really like the way that we approach it. For the golfers, it's interesting because there's a natural viral nature of our website, because typically golfers don't play alone. Now, sometimes they do, but if they don't play alone, because of that social invite process, when I go and invite, even 10 or 12 people, that expands our reach automatically. So the first and foremost way that we will expand is by golfers automatically sort of inviting their friends. But we certainly have marketing campaigns and other ways that we will attract golfers over time.
And have you tapped into corporate event planning at all? It seems right up your alley.
It's a great question. We have not tapped in yet, but it's certainly on the list of things to do, because a lot of the same golf courses that we work with, they struggle with trying to fill events and really make it easy to plan events. And so event planning will be a vertical for us that will be right in the wheelhouse of what we do.
Great. Do you have any plans to implement that, in a specific timeline, or?
I would say not at this point. It may be later this year, or it might be next year. We have a few important rollouts that we will do this year that are ahead of the corporate event planning, that we think golfers will really attract themselves to more than the event planning. But that and about 12 other important features are certainly on the horizon.
Very cool. Well, Brian, it was great speaking with you about Golf Pipeline. I look forward to seeing you progress. And if you're interested in learning more and connecting with Brian Wroblewski, go to fundology.com.